members and dear friends, who we as all of us know that why we have assembled here. We have assembled here to give our insights and viewpoint and perceptions about our field visits, what we have done over last week. At the onset, I like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the faculty members and the support staff of IMG. They have virtually left no stone unturned to make this field work a very pleasurable experience also, and at the same time it meant a lot for us because we actually came out from comfort zones of our offices. We are more into policy formulations and then coming out to the field. So it was kind of a transition we all were looking forward to, and then seeing the execution and implementation of the schemes on the ground, that made us this experiential learning a very enriching one, and the memories what we have got in this field visit, that we would cherish for very long throughout our life. And before we move on to presentation part, I will like to make a brief introduction with my team members. On extreme left is Yashdeep Khare. Next sitting is Shubham Bhardwaj. On his next is Raman Khanna. He is Mr. Kunal Raja Gautam and Abhishek Pandey, and I am Himanshu Prabhakar, as you all know. It was like I said, it was indeed a very nice experience to have experienced this state, because we quite kind of were looking forward to the practices, the governance, the everything what we heard about Kerala, and then coming to witness that on ground. That was indeed a very enriching experience. More than anything else, the three-tier system of governance. We have heard the 73rd Amendment, 74th Amendment, but then witnessing it into such a robust system what Kerala has done, that is in itself a hallmark of what governance is. And apart from this, all the social indices, whatever we talk, Kerala is ranked number 1. So that way it has been a very enriching one. So in this I would like to give a brief overview about what we are going to do in next 20-25 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever we have been assigned. So we will talk about our approach of study, our methodology what we adopted, how we got into the understanding of things. We learned about the intricacies of the 2 schemes which have been allotted to us, and before that, let's get to very basic of the fact that why we are here. So this slide is indicative of that we have come here to study about the implementation of central and state schemes at the ground level, at the tier 3 level, to witness and understand the functioning and mode of service delivery of at the district level, block level, panchayat level, and gram panchayat level, as we all know, to collect the data and statistics pertaining to implementation of the 2 earmarked schemes from the allotted block panchayat. In our case, it was Uttur, that I'll briefly visit, to study and analyze the collected data, and to present the findings to IMG Kerala, and based on their feedback, opinion, we will refine it and then we'll present it to ISTN New Delhi through our group presentation and reports, and to submit a report based on findings, observations, and data analysis. Now, I'll go through this side. We are in Thiruvananthapuram right now. We were allotted Uttur Gram Panchayat in Vadkala block. As we all know that this is the governance, how it flows from state to district to block to Gram Panchayat, and our Gram Panchayat, Uttur, what we were allotted, had 13 wards. These are the 2 schemes we would be dwelling in our next 25 minutes, as I said. One is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, and the other is Public Education Rejuvenation Mission that was launched in the year 2016 under Nava Kerala Mission. My friends would build on that. This is we have tried explaining the demographics in Kerala state, Thiruvananthapuram district per se, and then Varkala block and Ottur block. Our Ottur block is what we visited is a relatively very sparsely populated block, but female outnumbered men as is trend in Kerala. Like I already said, it is divided into what sex ratio here is 1 to 4. And primary occupation is agriculture. Many people go there paddy, tapioca, and rubber. What we actually saw in the field, the things might be there are other things also like spices and all people were saying, but that is more of a seasonal activity. So sex ratio is positive, literacy rate is 100%, and major occupation, as I already said, is agriculture. Before I move on to next, I just want to highlight one thing, that our methodology, how we did our study, was more of a collection of primary data, because secondary data was not very easy to come because of a language barrier. But still we tried doing our best, and we had structured questionnaires, and our interpreters did help us. We collected data mostly from the stakeholders, the school representatives, the officials, the block level officials rather. We could interact with the general public also, of course, through our interpreter. And apart from this, the people's representative, wherever and wherever we wanted, we desired, we could get access to people, because otherwise people were quite cooperative. So now we move on to schemes, and I will like to invite Shri Abhishek Pandey, my team member, to delve further on the schemes. Thank you.
Thanks, Himanshu. Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, friends. I am Abhishek Pandey. I will explain the basic features of Manrega scheme that was allotted to us. This was the central government scheme which was allotted to us, and another scheme is state government scheme. Manrega is a employment guarantee scheme which provides 100 days employment to every rural household in country. It was launched on 2nd February 2006 in 200 districts. Wayanad and Palakkad was the two districts of Kerala out of that, and after that in 2007 about 130 districts were added, and from 1st April 2008 it is implemented in all districts of the country where rural obviously with the population of rural households. And there are certain rights which are every rural household is entitled to get. First right is right to get a job card. If any person from a rural household wants to apply for unskilled work, he is entitled to get job card. He will simply apply in Gram Panchayat. In Kerala it is implemented to Gram Panchayat. He will simply apply in Gram Panchayat, and he is entitled to get job card within reasonable time. If he not gets the job card in reasonable time, he is entitled to his complaint about block panchayat level. And every rural household is entitled to demand and receive work within 15 days of his application. If he not get the work in within 15 days, he is entitled for unemployment allowance. Unemployment allowance is 25% of the base rate for first 30 days, thereafter 50% of the base rate, and it must not be more than 100 days of the total 100 days of base rate in one financial year. He is entitled to get wages in 15 days of completion of work. If he not gets the wage in 15 days, he is entitled to get 0.05% of the wage rate as a compensation. And he will be provided the work within 5 kilometers of his home, radius of 5 kilometers. If he not gets if he is allotted the work in out of 5 kilometer radius, he is entitled to pay get 10% of the wage rate as a traveling allowance. In Kerala, it is mostly the work is the people is doing the work in their lean period. It is not the sole income source of their families. Their main income is agriculture. What I get from field, and in Kerala, 90% are women who are working in the through Manrega. 19% are SC and 7% of ST in Kerala. It is like a social inclusion in Kerala. Daily wage rate is different for different states. It is notified from Govt India, Ministry of Rural Development, and for Kerala it is 333, which is from 1st April 2023. And unemployment allowance I have already discussed in first slide. The funding is done by central government for the unskilled wages and administrative costs. The administrative cost must not be more than 6% of the total expenditure. And central and state government share the material related expenditure in 75 and 25% in the ratio of 75 and 25. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Kunal to explain the Manrega in Kerala and especially in Uttur Gram Panchayat.
Thank you, Abhishek. Before we delve further into what we found during our visit in Uttur Gram Panchayat, 2 points about local self-government in Kerala are worth mentioning. One is that the Gram Panchayat model in Kerala is quite different from what we get in the states. The Gram Panchayats in this state are, may contain 20,000 to 80,000 people, which is a huge number. And the second one is that Kerala's local self-government model, it includes a trickle-up approach, like people will plan from bottom. In contrast with rest of the country where we have got a trickle-down approach. Let us see in the next slide. What happens is the community prepares a plan and demands work. The person sitting in the bottom of the community is also involved in making of the plan. The plan and the demand goes through Ward Sabha, Gram Sabha, block to the district, and then from the district it goes to the state, which then examines it, and after that the state sends it to an empowered committee that approves the plan and sends the budget back to the community. What we could find in Uttur Gram Panchayat during our visit was that there are 4,260 households. Out of them, 79% have got job cards. And out of the job card holders, 16.6% are scheduled caste. So, there is an element of social inclusion over here. And 4,866 are active workers out of the 4,260 households. Average work per day per household has been quite steady in the past 3 years, 65, 72, 65. Here is a small data on the work demanded, offered and availed. If we look into what was in 21-22, it was almost similar in 22-23. How many days of work was demanded, how many was offered and how much was availed. So, let us now move on to what we found during our visits, what types of work are being executed under Manrega. The solid waste management program, it's quite popular as we were told in the block panchayat, in the Gram Panchayat, sorry. We could unfortunately not meet the video, but the Gram Panchayat officers, they were quite helpful. They told us that compost pit, soft pit, this is quite common over there. Then this digging or desilting of canals and ponds, there are small canals, beside the fields. Those canals are very important during the rainy season. So it's a very important project. Prevention of soil erosion is also carried out through geotextiles. On those small canals which have been dug up years ago. There is this geotextile which is perhaps jute or something. It is put there so that soil erosion is prevented. Road repairing is also there. So asset creating or reusing of works is the main component of Manrega in the Uttur Gram Panchayat that you could find. This is the wages of the wage scenario of the Uttur Gram Panchayat. One thing is very important and we were very happy to find out is that no wages were due in the last 3 years in Uttur Gram Panchayat. Due wages as in no wages were late. everybody gets paid within 15 days. This due, which includes 0.56, 1.42 and 1.25 is administrative cost, which is due. So it was happy that everybody was getting paid within time. This is the site that we visited. In the middle is we found a pond which gets filled during rain, and when it gets filled, then these two canals on the left and the right. So this the water just goes drain, goes into like drain in the fields along with the terrain. So this is one of the major things. This was a live site where these workers were working. They were trying to desilk this canal, which is already built, and it's an important thing. We came across some conversation of some schemes with Manrega. Two are worth to mention over here, but in the field visits, during the field visits that we happened, one was the scheme of education rejuvenation mission that we are going to take up a little bit later in next slides. It is because the same school that we visited, the scheme education rejuvenation mission was carrying out, and Manrega workers were also working. They were preparing plant saplings because of 52 schools are reopening in Kerala, and we were very happy to note that the students shall be welcomed by the school administration by giving them saplings. The students shall take the saplings, their homes, grow them and take care of them. And second one is that was very important is ICDS. Although ICDS sites and Manrega sites are quite different, but we found that some of the workers on the sites where we visited, they were young and their children were also young. So they could come and work only because ICDS is taking care of their kids. That as we were told. The site that we visited, the photograph that we saw here. In this site, 53 workers were there. Out of them, 51 were women. Average age of workers were 45 to 50. And all the workers, including both the men, they responded that whatever they are getting in Manrega, it's an addition to the income. It's not just the sole source of income. So they work during leave periods, etc. And it's only addition, which is quite a good thing. Why should Manrega be continued here? Is that it is beneficial for both the workers, the community and the government. Workers, they are getting wages. Community, the community is getting involved in making plans. Government, assets are creating. Wages are getting taken care of. All the workers preferred Manrega over casual labours. All the workers preferred Manrega over casual labours, although the wage rate under Manrega is 333. Okay, and casual wage they will be getting something like 860, 850. Why? Because it provides a stable income. They know that during their leave period they will get an assured income. That's why everybody responded to that. And work availability is also during leave period. Women said that they are trying to supplement efforts of their menfolk. Their menfolk are busy in agriculture or whatever, but women, they try to support them. And last 3 years, zero wage payment dues were observed. Attendance is through a biometric system. To continue, at the Gram Panchayat level in Kerala, 100% implementation has been seen and been witnessed through secondary data, of course, that we found of Manrega. It is a financial inclusion thing because each worker is required to open an account either with bank or post office or cooperative account. There is no joint account. So what happens is anybody who is working, male or female, SC, Muslim, anybody, he or she is getting paid into his or her account. There is a witness monitoring committee in everyone to oversee the implementation, and this maid concept is very good. The maid supervises, keeps attendance, etc. And 100% maids in Kerala are women. That we could see from the government of Kerala website. Recent success stories during Manrega was that 8 kilometers of water bodies have been reclaimed in Uttur Gram Panchayat through desilting only. Plant saplings, as we have already discussed, given to school students. Some private people are also willingly giving up their part of land for Manrega works, especially canal. And during the pandemic, Manrega was the only thing. During pandemic, we talked to the workers and they said during pandemic it was the only thing. We also came across some limitations of Manrega which can be worked upon, we think. One is that there was a little bit confusion over the wage rate. Although 333 has been announced as the daily wage rate, some of the workers responded as 311. So we tried to just see, and some of them had even signed on 333, but they said they have got the wage rate is still 311. It was later clarified by the maid that there was some spillover work, some spillover wages, etc. Other details we could not extract. We did not want to disturb them. No toilets were found at the site. It's a serious limitation. And average number of work days is only 65. It may be considered a limitation, it may not be. The people at ground level may know better whether this may be the case that 65 is the only number of days they require. This is the only period for which leave period. It may be. That's it on Manrega. For our next theme, I would like to invite Raman ji.
Thank you, Kunal. This public education rejuvenation mission is an intent to bring international standards to the already existing education system of Kerala. To go further, I would like to highlight the achievements the Kerala state has made in the education sector. It is one of the states that has achieved the 100% literacy rate in the country. It has also been ranked in the School Qualification Education Index by the Niti Aayog. Here the education is accessible to all the students who want to study, and the dropout rates, it is needs to be highlighted that dropout rates in class from standards 1st to 8th is quite low and it's almost negligible in the higher standards. Nav Kerala Mission, it's an initiative of Government of Kerala way back in 2016, the 5 pillars of which are health, housing, agriculture, waste management and education. Today we are here to highlight the flagship program of this education part, that is PUM. Now, position of schools. There are about more than 50,000 schools operating in the state of Kerala, and out of which 90% of them are being government or aided by the government, which are covered under this mission. There are about 47 lakhs of students who are studying in these various schools, and it's very fortunate that more than 92% of them are being studying in this government and government aided schools, which are the beneficiaries of this mission. Public Education Rejuvenation Mission. It's an action-oriented program launched by Government of Kerala in 2016 under Nav Kerala Mission, which considers to support and advance the education setup of Kerala by removing the redundant and outsourced ways of teaching as well as learning in the education department of Kerala. The aim is to bring comprehensive revival of the education system in Kerala and to take it to the international standards, the 21st century standards, with the imbibement of various ICT techniques. What are the objectives of PUM? It's basically to improve the existing infrastructure in the government and government aided schools, which constitutes 90% of, as already I have told in the previous slide. The main focus is on the pre-primary and primary schools, which are the building blocks for any of the students. And it also aimed at conversion of these high schools as well as higher secondary schools into high-tech classrooms, the smart classrooms I would rather say, and they have also emphasized on the revision of the curriculum to imbibe the secularism, the equality and democracy feeling amongst the students. How this can be achieved? What are the methodologies that have been taken care by the government in this mission? It has basically the upgradation of the physical as well as the academic infrastructure by pumping out the various technical gadgets, the IT gadgets like laptops, the classroom, other amphitheater system, the cameras and all, and also developing the labs and the libraries as per the requirements of the schools. And they are also emphasizing on the revising of the curriculum as well as the learning as well as the training techniques. So this this cannot be achieved in a one day, and this can be trained in a supersonic speed if we are able to establish one model pre-primary school in all the Panchayati Raj institutions, as well as if we are able to train all the pre-primary teachers, so that because this mission imparts learning as well as training, and incorporating those wheels, we would be able to achieve the supersonic speed in this mission. And to take on, to take on this mission further, I would like to invite Shubham. Thank you.
Hello friends, thank you Raman for throwing the light on the Kerala Education Regeneration Mission. As explained by Raman, it's an initiative launched by the new government which came into 2016. The primary focus of this scheme is on the equity part of the education. As we all know that Kerala has done fairly well, very well into the education sector by making it accessible to all the people. Now they are focusing on more on quality of the education. The improvements in the infrastructure of the education at all the pre-primary, primary and higher secondary levels. They are focusing now much more on revising also the curriculum as well as the education of the 21st century through the ICT equipments. Basically what is happening in Kerala is that they want to transform education at the ground level itself. They want this that there should be equity in the education. There was an impression that in the private schools they provide better facilities to the students. So there was kind of inequityness or inequity among the people who are going to the public schools. So through this mission, they want to target those areas where equity can be achieved to all the students, and they not just equity, but they should match with the international level standard. Since the mission has been implemented from 2016, this is the present status of the development which has taken place. 42,000 classrooms for 8 to 12 have been upgraded with laptops, projectors, screens, and also a network. The focus on lower primary and upper primary is that at least one smart classroom should be there with a computer lab, and the target is to cover all the 16,000 schools within the Kerala with the IT equipments, multimedia projectors, LED, DSLR cameras, HD webcams and multifunction printers. So far, what has done into this mission, Kerala, this Kerala education mission, the spending from the government has it has been divided into under 3 categories. Up to 1 crore for lower primary schools, where up to 446 projects have been successfully executed. From 1 to 3 crore projects, such 385 projects have been executed, and 3 to 5 crores, 141 projects so far have been executed. This 3 to 5 crores is being spent on the schools which have at least 1,000 students, and they are being transformed into the centers of excellence. This is the primary data for the Gram Panchayat which we visited. There were 3 primary schools, 1 upper primary school and 1 government aided school. The model school which has been transformed till date into the Ottu Gram Panchayat is 1. 73 number of students were there into the Gram Panchayat. Of these 73 students, 41 were girls. There were 32 boys. We were quite astonished to see what kind of infrastructure revamp has been taken place into the school. We'll later see into the photographs also. All modern infrastructure facilities have been provided within the school premise itself. The target is to develop the cognitive abilities of these students who are studying in the public schools at par with the other private institutions. These are the grassroots level implementation of this mission. You can clearly see the facilities which have been provided to the students. The theatre, the toys which have been given to them is similar to any other private school which we see in the South Delhi itself, because we can relate to that. These are the interactions which we had with the school staff, which they told us how the sessions which they do with the students is helpful for the developing the abilities of the students at the ground level itself. For the further dwelling into the scheme, I would like to invite my friend Yashdeep to inform about it.
Thank you, Shubham. Esteemed colleagues of IMG and my fellow officers. One thing which I would like to say at the outset is that the opportunity to learn and witness the education rejuvenation mission in Kerala was one of a very eye-opening and a very special experience for us. What we saw was that many schemes are working together at the same site. And the second thing that we noticed was that Kerala used to be a perfectly literate state, but now the focus has shifted from being literate, making its children literate, to making them educated. The 360-degree development that is being used for students now is something unparalleled that we have not seen before, especially in northern states where we dwell. We haven't seen these things before. The shift in focus that we saw is very visible in all the activities that are being undertaken. One more thing which was evident was that there were many schemes converging together in the education sector at the same time. Here is a list of some of those schemes that we saw working in the school that we visited in Uttur Gram Panchayat. As Kunal told us, the site of the school, which was empty due to holidays of the kids, was converted into an MG Narega site for some reason. They were planting saplings over there, making saplings to give them to children. So it was a 2-in-1 process which was going on, two schemes of working concurrently at the same time. The STARS scheme, it's working there because all the IT infrastructure and different products that are being installed in the school and the training methodology through IT intervention is being done through STARS. Midday meal scheme, as is prevalent in entire India. The Cool program, which is a special training program, guides open online learning system of Kerala government. It's also implemented over there in that school which we visited. And all these schemes are converting together to form one scenario where the kids can be given a special kind of education where they can learn from their own experiences and by building things, not just by rote learning. This is what we have concluded. We might be correct, we might be wrong, but this is what was evident in the very first things that we saw. There were some high positives that we could see while visiting these places. The first one was development of overall personality of students is the prime focus these days. Creativity is being developed. Even the teachers who were there, they were talking about this, that the students can be given this type of project so they can be creative about it and create something out of it, not just imparting lectures to these students. Second was like providing different kits, new making stage performances, etc., where kids can learn to deliver through physical performances or by doing something, not just by delivering something in words. Teachers are being given training, as I said, and the infrastructure has been upgraded, which is a great boon. About 30% of the area or classroom of the school was converted into a modern infrastructure classroom. I think it's going to be upgraded soon in phases. But what we saw was very good. What we saw was amazingly big and was ready for the next generation. That's for sure. There were some limitations that we saw that we feel can be taken as limitations, like the first one. So many schemes were converging together at the same time on one site, one small school. It all got very mixed up and confused at some point of time for the faculties, teachers and administration to understand what was going on under which scheme. It might be a limitation, maybe not, but from what we saw it seemed like a limitation for sure. ICT equipments are there. All the equipments have been upgraded, but there are no maintenance contracts. If something breaks down, it breaks down for a while until someone from a different city altogether goes there and repairs it. The IT training and using IT infrastructure for education, teachers are required to be trained in it as well. What we saw was that the teachers were not given training as of yet. There has been no substantial change in curriculum despite change in methodology. So that is one thing which we think is still in progress. And there was no internet connectivity in the school. The Gram Panchayat told us that there is a project which is going on and the connectivity will be provided in 3 months. So despite having all the infrastructure, without the internet connectivity, only 10 or 20% of its entire functionality can be used at one point. With the internet, the 100% potential can be used. The data collection about education was primarily a very easy task because IMG gave us all the facilities and interpreters were there with us. Gram Panchayat facilitated a lot. There were slight challenges that we saw, like our BDO was not very keen on meeting us for some reason. And though the panchayat was there, panchayat was available at every point of time, and they gave us whatever they could. And we express our heartfelt gratitude to IMG and esteemed faculties for giving us this opportunity. And thank you very much for everything that you have done for us. We will invite the questions if you have any.